to test their skills in this ultimate face-off.
You make one mistake when you're walking through the exit door.
You look a bit stronger behind the glass, a bit more intimidating.
Can't say a damn thing.
Winning is everything.
If you're looking to get better, you've got to come and play with the best.
It's fun when you win.
The winners take their seats in the semi-finals. The runners-up get a second chance in a turbo round. Over $500,000 is the prize pool, and the champion will take a cool $250,000 first prize. Also, nobody knows how the pros' minds tick like Neil Badbeat Channing. He'll be given his insights on the moves that grew. So hold tight for some extreme poker.
Marty, lad Marty, clock.
When you get caught bluffing, you lose your pot.
Unreal, man.
Never met before. What chance?
Tonight, another heat kicks off with a supreme lineup. This man from Peterborough has recently taken the biggest cash win of his career. Making his debut at the World Open is Tim Blake.
I was described recently as one of poker's up-and-coming players, to which I replied, yes, I must be the only up-and-coming player to have a membership to Saga.
The Grum, a jeweler from Nottingham, has been playing for 20 years. Here's hoping that tonight he can shine on his crazy diamond.
It's an adrenaline rush. It's a sport, not just a card game.
Rob Gray from Worcester is a gardener by trade. He won his place at this poker table, and with 3 years experience under his belt, he'll be looking to bloom and not wilt under the studio lights.
Very nervous, but once you get into the game, first couple of hands, I hope to calm down and play my game.
Dale Hoy from Great Yarmouth knows his way around a poker table, but is yet to win a big event. This is just what he needs to make his mark.
It's not all about the money, it's about winning a title. And please God, today, let's get the cards, let's be lucky, let's get the money in front, come out in front, and let's see what happens.
Trevor Reardon has come down from the mighty Birmingham to play tonight. He came unstuck at the World Open 3. Now he is back for revenge.
I think as long as I'm not unlucky, I would have a good chance.
This London businessman loves a game of poker. He took a tidy $125,000 at the EPT London in 2004. Could this be his next big win?
The worst thing happening is these bad beats, but they happen all the time and you get used to them.
Joined this evening by poker journalist and commentator Matt Broughton. Matt, this looks suspiciously like the poker game from Cool Hand Luke. Just which one's Paul Newman?
It looks like a motley crew, doesn't it? If they, even if they don't know what they're doing, then they certainly look like they do. It's a scary lineup.
Cultural values. The yellow bird's worth 1,000, the blues are 2, and the reds $5K apiece. 600,000 in play and 100,000 per player. The seating positions on this table are quite interesting. I mean, if you say that, you know, obviously Grummitt and Gray, the inexperienced ones, right together on the table, would you rather be on their left or on their right?
Well, I think I would probably rather have them to my left because, again, we don't want to make assumptions, but you would always favour the guys with experience, and normally you don't want good players to your left. You don't want people behind you that can surprise you and make you pay more than you want to. You know, Grummitt is not in a great position here because he is going to be the big blind when Rob's on the button. And again, we've said Rob is comfortable in these situations. He will be looking to get active early.
Dale Hoy, the raise from the small blind with the ace-queen. He's got a customer in Grummitt who has every indication that he means to play flops early.
Yeah, well, this is the stage before the blinds get crazy when you've got enough chips to maybe be a bit more speculative.
It's come well for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about as good as you could hope for.
7,000.
And tough decision already for Dale Hoy here. Decided to check. Surely he's not going to check raise the second hand with no pair.
Well, this is where we find out what kind of game these guys are bringing to the table. Are they just going to be ABC, or are they looking for opportunities to test and punish?
Raised.
Yeah. Wow. You called it right. He's just looking for opportunities to test out these new players.
And I mean, you know, if you're sitting in Grum's seat,
14.
I mean, Hoy is playing this like he has a big pair.
Yeah, he opted to raise. He's out of position, so you think, well, he's not going to be doing that with junk, and it's very hard now for Grummitt to sort of fight back. What do you want to do, call and play another card? Well, he's gone for it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for Hoy is that he doesn't have much of a form line on Grummitt. I mean, do you think Grum is just If he's a calling station, Hoy could be done for.
Well, that's the problem. If you're a player that's trying to win a lot of hands with bluff, then if you do run into someone who's just going to call you down, it really cripples you. Now Hoy just thinks, let's just hang on a minute. We've got a 62,000 pot here. This is impressive. This is great from Paul Grummitt. He must believe he's ahead, and he's just gonna stick to his guns here. The 5 can't have helped Hoy.
Yeah, I think Dale's looking at that pot and saying, how did it get so big?
Yeah. And it's interesting. It's, you know, a fantastic example of why people do tend to just do so much damage to themselves with the likes of Ace King and Ace Queen if they don't connect and if they're out of position. He had a good shot at this, but Grummitt's instincts just clearly told him otherwise.
Go Jets.
You don't need too many hands to start categorizing the guys that are experimentative, the guys that are solid, the guys that are tight. But we've seen before through the course of the game that personalities can switch and people just flip the switch and change gears.
Well, this will settle Dale Hoy's nerves down. Had a rough first hand, and look at this. He's opted to slow play the aces. And I'm just wondering, I mean, because Grummitt's played every hand for a call before the flop, would you have raised there thinking, hey, he's coming along?
Well, unless Dale has just decided he's found himself bottom of the chip stack count right now, and that he's gonna take the risk of letting lots of players in, and hopefully capitalize on that by therefore maximizing profits if he can hold on to the lead.
Oh boy!
Check.
Well, look
Check.
at this. He's gonna get action from Tim
6,000.
Blake, straight and a flush draw.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone's got a piece of this.
Call.
Tim has opted to just call.
No.
Pass.
And is this Tim saying, hey, I don't want to make this pot too big without a made hand?
Pass.
No, well, he's been pretty quiet, and he's already seen a lot of players get maybe a bit too involved in big pots early on. And you don't really need to do that. And if it has a big effect on you mentally, you don't want to do that.
Tim will look at that as a good card. It's given him actually a couple extra outs.
12,000.
Yeah, and I think that Dale Hoy is right to start stepping it up now, because that is a scary board.
6.
Raised from Blake, and really an option for Hoy to either push or fold.
Yeah, and he's paying the price of taking the risk of slow playing it, is that he has no real idea what hand Tim Blake has come in with.
I mean, the fact is, obviously, that Hoy has the best hand, but it's actually hard for Dale to find a hand he can beat here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, because you know, you don't want to be the monkey that tells the story about how I couldn't get away from pocket aces and died horribly on the TV table. It's not an easy decision. That's the problem by not making a raise pre-flop, is how do you funnel down the range that you put Blake on?
I mean, because Blake isn't...
All in.
Oh, wow, he's gone all in.
All in.
And this is now really tough stuff for Tim Blake, who probably realizes he's behind, but knows he's drawing live.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's going to be fantastic for Hoy to see that Blake immediately doesn't like that, because your worst fear is that you make that move and they go, I call. But the fact that Blake hasn't immediately said, I call, lets you know that the aces could still be safe. And that I think Hoy now knows exactly where he is. He's up against someone who has so many outs that it was worth betting out, making the re-raise, and now it's a real challenge to him.
Well, I mean, he just can't fold. He's getting like 3 to 1 here.
Absolutely, it's 35. There's 107,000 in the pot.
You know, he knows even if Hoy flopped the nuts, and that's the worst case scenario. He's going to have like 9 outs, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
You know, he's got much more. He's actually, how many does he have? He's got about 18, doesn't he? Got a lot of outs.
Yeah, he's got so many ways out. This it's just. I think the problem here you've got is if this is a cash game, you don't even think twice. But because it's a tournament, you don't want to be first out. I think this is really him just making sure he's not about to walk into a monster.
Cool.
I think that's the right move. I think he has so many ways to win this.
You know, this is kind of... I mean, Dale Hoy, he wanted a big pot. Now he's got one.
Yeah.
But be careful what you wish for.
Well, look how many cards Blake and is just not hugely behind. There's only one card to come.
Cool. I think.
And the aces hold. The aces hold, and Dale Hoy has got himself
So many bloody outs.
I thought you were going to draw, Max.
in a strong spot. joined by Neil Bad Beat Channing, who will be leading us down the travails of the travel. And we saw a straight flush draw earlier in the series, Neil, but this one a little bit different. I mean, were Tim Blake's hands tied?
Well, I don't know. I don't really like Tim Blake's play in some ways in this hand, but it was all made a bit awkward by the fact that Dale Hoy decided to keep the pot small early on with aces, which is an unusual decision in this format. He kind of overcomplicated it. They've gone to the flop four-handed. He's asking for all kinds of trouble.
You don't like that?
I don't generally like that. I mean, if you slow play all your big hands and fast play all your bad hands, you're very easy to read in this format. I tend to fast play my strong hands, and if no one's got anything, no one's got anything, you're just unlucky.
Obviously, the crux point in this hand was the turn.
Yeah, I mean, earlier on in the series when we looked at the straight flush draw, we were saying it's a very strong hand. You've got to get all your money in on the flop while you've still got a big draw. For Tim Blake, he couldn't really do that in this situation. The pot was so small that he'd have to be shoveling in lots and lots of money to win very little. So he quite rightly, I think, in my view, decided to get to the turn and see what happened. And of course, bingo, he hit the jack on the turn. So now he's got top pair and the straight flush draw. So now he seems to be in a very strong situation. Unfortunately for me, he made a big mistake now. You know, basically the secret to No Limit Hold'em is to give yourself two chances to win. One, you give the guy a chance to pass his hand, or two, maybe you get lucky with the cards and you win the pot. He didn't really give himself the two chances. He didn't raise enough to get Dale Hoy out with his aces, and he opened the window for Dale Hoy now to come back and raise him and give himself what he obviously considers to be a difficult decision.
And now I guess we learn something more about Tim, which is how does he come back from this?
Raise to 7,000 total.
Well, I'm spending a lot of time with Tim on the tour lately, and I know no matter what happens here, it's not going to knock him off his mood, which is, you know, he's a super positive guy at all times, but he just had the biggest result of his poker career less than a month ago in Ireland, and you know, he knows the ups and downs of the game. I mean, I think it's going to affect him seriously. He used to be known kind of more as a journeyman grinder, but lately he's really stepped his game out of the box. And he's got Grummitt.
All in.
Is that the only move he can make here?
Yeah, and that's the perfect flop. I mean, that's a dream come true. There's one overcard, and it's been called. I mean, it's just because of the amount. It's just such a small amount, and because of how busy Paul was early, he can afford to take this risk.
I thought I got the 7.
I believe that, actually.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm surprised by the call. It's cheap, but he must have thought he connected. You got to remember your cards. It's so important.
Obviously, there's still a bunch of live outs, and Tim Blake is sort of dreading this river, which could be a king or an 8.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Two hands and it's all over, especially knowing that Grummitt didn't really mean to call.
No, believe me, you know, everybody in Poker Player knows that when a guy genuinely misread his hands, he's about to dog you horribly. Looking at the leaderboard, this has been entertaining so far, if not picture perfect.
You know, we're not even 10 hands into this game, and we've already seen so much action. It feels like a full tournament has passed us by, but that's unfortunate for Tim. You got to feel for him now.
I don't think there's much I would have changed. You know, you've got to get chips early, and that's the only way you can play this sort of game. It's no good. I mean, okay, there's a second place, you get a second chance, but really third, fourth, fifth, it's the same as last. But we should be back. The Timinator will be back.
Welcome back to the partypoker.net World Open 4.
Call.
This table's so dramatically different to last times when you just couldn't limp for love or mercy.
No, well, that's why I said, you know, I think we're going to see lots of 3- and 4-way pots because people seem to be just at this stage, maybe not later, but right now just happy to take flops in and see if they improve. Again, 4 players to this.
Yeah. Look at this. Cooper and Reardon have both flopped 2 pair.
Check.
This is huge trouble for Big TR. Huge trouble.
Yeah, now both these players are experienced, so it'll be interesting to see if that comes into play. They're not going to go broke on this, but I think
Check.
they could find this an expensive process.
Reardon's already saved money by trying to slow play this, and now with the possible straight out there.
Check.
I'm surprised that
Six.
Rob
6,000.
Cooper has...
Called.
I was
Pass.
expecting him to make more of this. I keep looking at high thinking it's Rob Cooper. I wish one of them would wear a hat.
You were talking about flopping a big hand and a big blind, and the reason sometimes you don't want to slow play is somebody else might have something, and you're going to lose out on money. This pot is going to be a lot smaller than it could be. I mean,
yeah, it's interesting the way that they played this through.
with the possible straight out there, it's not going to get all in, is it?
But you would think the cards you'd need to make that straight are the sort of cards you would raise with pre-flop. If you're trying to put your opponent on a hand, if you're looking at ace-queen. But everyone limped into this pot, didn't they?
Check. 12,000.
Now, this will be interesting.
Reardon thought long and hard and decided to check. I'm sure it's check call.
Yeah, I don't see him folding this. I mean, you would have to be quite paranoid to have flopped two pair and still believe you're weak. But he's really thinking about something here. All I can think is he thinking I can raise you here and it's worth doing?
He will know a lot about Rob Cooper's game. They've played before.
I'm tempted to raise you, but just in case you have got the hand.
Well, they are. I think he said exactly what we were attributing to his attitude. Is that he was seriously thinking, is there much value in this situation raising? I think he made the right decision. I think many other players, and I said I don't think we're going to see anyone go broke just because of the caliber of these particular two players.
Well played.
Nice two pair for Cooper, but Reardon certainly played that to lose the minimum.
Pass.
Cool.
Cool.
The history of this format is first timers. You know, you need a little bit of experience. It seems like.
Yeah, and we've seen before people kind of almost clicking as the game moves on, and they sense the moves and they're paying attention to their opponents. Because the good thing about this format is you are just focused, totally focused on your table.
No raise.
There's a lot of information to be learned by these players. Again, it's another
pair, and Rob with the ace.
And of course, Reardon's got the gut shot draw. He might take another card here if the price isn't too bad.
Raise.
Like this from Greg.
Good, yeah.
To 14,000 total. Pass.
Okay.
And it's a nice raise, not a big raise. It's just kind of asking a question.
Yeah, that's good. And you know, and Rob hasn't risked too many of his chips, but he clearly thought that's the amount that will find out what I need to know. And that'll bolster his confidence and make him feel like he's back in the game here as an active player. He just needs to try and follow this up now. It's amazing in the space of such a relatively short tournament how many times you can feel on top of the world and how many times you think you're in charge of the table, and other times you're just thinking, oh, I'm just being pounded here. And it's in the space of a few hands we've seen Rob Gray really move through all those different spots.
You would no sooner finish the discussion on how hard a time he was going to have winning when he went chip leader.
Yeah. That's the beauty of the cards. If you get the right cards at the right moment and you run into an opponent that does want to play against you. Well, here we see it's another flat call for the ace-queen with Grummitt. It's twice he's done this now.
And Reardon is raising from the button. He's looking to get in these spots and I guess hit a big hand to make a big pot. But can he win this pot? Oh, wow.
Well, it's going to be tough now because he's one, not connected, and two, got an opponent who's happy to fire out at him. It's, and it's hard for Trevor because you're going, well, what did he call with pre-flop and what is he firing out with?
And it's a completely new wrinkle from Grummitt. We haven't seen this club in his bag yet tonight. And it's perfect timing for him.
Yeah, and you said, he's clearly a player that does have different gears. He was very, very busy, very active early on. And now he's just being more of a sniper shot than a shotgun. It's like real focused. This is a moment to make a move, and it's working out for him.
I'd describe myself as a pretty fearless player. at this game. If I've got the cards, I'm going to commit my chips.
He's definitely the player who seems to have the others off kilter a little bit. And while it goes well for Grummitt, his chip lead is just going to grow.
Yeah, and he's shut down the chat as well. He's stopped just announcing the hands and showing cards. I hope that's something he continues to do, because I just think, you know, no information is so frustrating when there's a player that keeps taking chips from you and you never really know what he's doing it with.
Kind of like that guy who, when you play the 3-card Monty, you know, he shows you this card, he shows you that card, and all of a sudden you realize he's been doing it on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was actually just doing it in a friendly, let's get this table going mood, but now he's realized that this is serious business.
It's not a huge raise, but TR, they sort of used the low denomination chips to make it look powerful.
Yeah.
And it does.
That's a Marcel Lusk move, isn't it? Keep the small chips, because then everyone thinks you've got a tower.
Called by Cooper with a better hand, but I don't know if Rob really knows where he's at. And a better flop for Trevor.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a sort of flop that will encourage Trevor to stay in this, even if Cooper fires out.
This is a Scandinavian move. Big TR is going to check raise all in.
Yeah, I think,
Either take the free card or check raise all in, right? The ace would be. But has he now given up the pot?
Check.
Check.
Well, we've seen this before, haven't we? We saw a move where it got to check raise, and he didn't get the check raise, and then more danger cards come down. I don't think he'll fire out now unless he actually connects.
34,000 in the pot. Does he have to bet to win? And can he?
Well, this is all about what he makes of Rob Cooper's play, isn't it? Because he knows he's only going to win this with a bet.
Cool.
18,000.
Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah, you could sense that.
It was the 8 did not look like a good card for Rob, did it?
Cool.
We see now not so many of those multi-way pots that were very early on. We were having lots of 3 players, 4 players going to the flop for cheap. That has now stopped because Paul Grummitt is no longer limping in so much.
Pass.
And no one is being given a free ride.
Pass. Cool.
Check.
No raise.
These guys have played 2 or 3 pots like this, which has sort of been precipitated by Grummitt abandoning his button at this level.
Not very much to get too excited about in these players' hands.
Check. Check.
See, interesting that Gray doesn't take a shot there. I think a lot of players would have taken a punt at that flop.
Check. 7,000.
Yeah, he's really allowed Hoy basically to have this, but you can only guess that he's just not right now very interested. Oh my! Oh wow!
Fantastic!
Hello.
Well, this is good. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm so pleased he's done that.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased, because otherwise there's a pattern forming, and this blows that out of the water.
Sure. I mean, Hoy is the most surprised guy at the table.
Yeah.
I mean, you could knock him off the chair with a feather.
Yeah, no, I'd take my hat off there to Gray, because I didn't think he was about to pull this move out. He looked at his cards and he looked kind of weak, and then just surprised the life out of everybody. Not least of which Del Hoy, who is now going to see if he can squeeze something out of the self-employed gardener.
I mean, no matter how long Dale Hoy looks at Gray, there's nobody in the world who doesn't think Gray. Everyone thinks Gray has somewhere between 3 aces and a 5-7. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like minimum 2 pair, right? Minimum.
Absolutely.
Show me one.
And that's the thing, is just Dale is just really desperate to know, what are you doing with this with? You've surprised me here.
He's bluffing, Dale, but there's no way you're going to find out till you walk out of the room.
Cheers.
He didn't show him, did he?
No. That's fantastic.
Tell you what, the gardener's got some game.
Yeah, I love this. This is fantastic. It's just so nice to be surprised.
I don't think he did. But
And I said earlier on, you know, we've not seen any check raises.
He's had a pair.
And he needs to throw that out there at some point.
Ace
But
king.
this is great.
Welcome back to the partypoker.net World Open 4. Grummitt in the big blind. He's only got 120,000. You know, it feels like he deserves to have more. That play he made with the King 4 really cost him.
Raise.
Yeah, he's been quiet, and he was ticking over and making moves regularly enough to
12,000
keep him
total.
at the top of the pile, but he's just not been getting the cards.
Pass.
King Queen, no hand to the under the gun raise, and this is a real hand. Reardon might get on for everything.
Well, he's up. He's got more to play with now. He might decide that the more profitable play is actually to play this through.
Re-raise.
Unless he just wants to give himself the opportunity to count out his stack and then decide to go
15,000 more,
in. But no,
27
he's
total
going to try and
pass.
play this. This is kind of a little bit suspicious to his opponents, though, you would
Pass.
imagine.
Yeah, he's made a smallish re-raise.
worked.
I have the feeling that Reardon just reckoned that Gray's raising requirements under the gun were strong enough that he might have a cold deck situation, which is it's kind of what it is. I mean, Gray may have got a little active with the Ace Queen. What do you think?
I think Reardon just played it perfectly. I think he knew as soon as he saw the cards he had, he knew how he should play it to make sure that they were all in.
And this is the big spot for Reardon, 92%er. That's strong. And the 151,000 is going to put him for the chip lead. He was nearly an afterthought this heat.
Yeah, no, he's made a lot of laydowns. He's been very thoughtful about the hands in which he got involved with.
A safe flop. Runner for the straight. Right now, Gray's best shot.
Silly, just a two.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for Gray because he's worked very hard. He's been very creative to get himself where he is. Just, you know, very hard to get away from a short-ish stack with the likes of Ace Queen.
4 tens. Gray with a better shot now than he had before the flop.
Yeah, it's still pretty overwhelming favorite. That's massive. That's really going to make Trevor feel good. He gets a lot of kings, doesn't he? He just seems to pick up lots of these king 8, king 9, king 10 sort of hands.
Well, kings are running
Pass.
hot. Kings are running hot tonight.
Pass. Call. And no raise.
Sneaky hand, going to take a look at that.
You know, these limp pots with the blinds are all of a sudden 18K. I mean, that's 15% of an average stack. It's pretty gambly stuff.
Yeah, but they just seem to have been
Check.
playing like this
Check.
for the majority of the time. Is multiple players going to the flop and then play it through from there. But it's quite a bit in the pot now just to get involved.
Opportunity for Trevor, perhaps, to take this one?
8.
Yeah, I think he's got enough of that.
8,000. Call.
Quick call from Rob Cooper there.
That's a quick call. What are his
Pass.
designs? Capable of a bluff on the river, perhaps?
Well, I guess he knows the cards that he doesn't want to see. You know, if it comes down high, then you're no longer worried about the straight. If it comes down and it is one of the straight cards, or even better, the flush card. Yeah, I think that.
Perfect card for Cooper.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, diamond will be a little scary, but he pretty much has to call any bet.
24,000.
This
call.
is now the second time that Reardon has been caught bluffing by Cooper with kind of the perfect card on the river, looking sort of an innocuous looking card being Cooper's perfect one.
Yeah, and he knows exactly what he's going to do. He knows the card he's hoping to come down. He knows what Reardon will do, and he just doesn't waste any time calling.
I like some of the people that you play with. You know, you meet some interesting characters, and I just like the mental side of it, where you can, you know, get outdrawn. It's the disappointment is so bad, it really kills you, and then you think never again, but you're there next time again. So I just like the challenge.
Pass. Pass.
Grummitt seems to, he's had a couple of goes at this. I mean, he did it once and he went into Rob with ace queen. Now Rob Gray's got ace king, which is nice.
Raise.
I get the feeling that Rob Gray
20,000
could do this
total.
if he keeps getting the cards, but Rob Cooper could do it without that.
Pass.
Trevor's got a serious look on his face. And it's a serious decision because he may feel like he has enough chips to take Gray off lots of hands.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's just thinking, well, if I raise and get called, then I'm out of position, and if I don't connect, what do I do with myself? So maybe he's just thought, you know what, let's just let the cards do the business and...
Wow, it's come perfect.
Yeah.
He could have been playing
Check.
stop and go.
Check.
Now that he's hit the set, it's just a question of hoping the other guy gets a piece.
Yeah.
Now we can check again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rob Gray checked so quickly
10,000.
after that flop.
All in.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh, he's got him!
Oh.
He got him! What happened? It was a brain squiggle from Gray. He just looked at that board and said Reardon couldn't have anything. And I mean, it's kind of a nice little move that Gray made, but he did it.
Yeah, his timing's off. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what led him to that. His instincts were well off there.
That's just turned this game upside down.
Wash boom there. That double up came out of nowhere.
Yeah, birthday time for Big TR. Yeah, he got himself an absolute gift there, didn't he?
I mean, it was kind of gutsy of Rob Gray to stick all his chips in, but...
Well, yeah, there's gutsy and there's, I'm afraid, foolhardy. I mean, I don't know what the hell Rob Gray was thinking about throughout the hand. I mean, he's made, the pre-flop he's made a minimum raise, which is always a bit dodgy. He's got ace-king. I mean, obviously when you raise on the button, people tend to think you're stealing, and maybe if you make a minimum raise, you might induce the other guy to make a re-raise move. Trevor definitely thought about that. I think that's what he was thinking about with his pair of fours. But he's decided it's so cheap, maybe I might flop a set and break the guy, and that's exactly what happened. But I don't really understand what Rob's thinking was. The flops come down with a 9, the turns come down with a 9. He's now decided to go all in. The thing about bluffing in poker generally is that you have to tell a story. What on earth did he think he was trying to sell the idea to Trevor that he had in his hand?
So there was no hand that Rob Gray could have had there to actually make that move legitimate.
Well, I mean, obviously Trevor's got 3 4s anyway. He's probably not going to fold anyway. But if Trevor had a sort of marginal hand, how can he be convinced now that Rob's got a really strong hand? The story made no sense.
Then like a lion, not like a lamb, goes the gardener. And he's still got 23,000 to play with. It ain't much, but yeah, it could very quickly become a playable stack if he doubles up.
Yeah, he won't get much respect for that move, so he could double up here, I think, quite easily, unless his opponents just have junk.
19.
Oh, unless here comes his nemesis.
Yeah, this is weird. Just having a quick look at Cooper before he makes the decision. Obviously, is whether to call or to re-raise all in and freeze Cooper out.
No.
Yeah, he's not going to muck around
Raise
here.
to 50,000
Or
total.
exactly how much to
Plus.
raise, I guess, is the thing.
Yeah, enough to just get rid of Cooper and go heads up. And this is unlucky for Rob Gray. He has had such an interesting game.
It's been a bit of fun, and you look forward to seeing him play again now that he's had this experience, because he's played some wonderful hands.
Yeah, well, he's certainly been involved in some of the more memorable ones in this game. You know, he brings something very interesting to the table.
Unfortunately, he's now... well, there's a couple split pots out there.
10's dead.
But the 10 is what he needs for the straight. No, excuse me, the king is what he needs for the straight. 10 is what Reardon needs for the straight. Jack or 4 for the split. King's going to play.
Well, I think he's given a very good account of himself here. His first time on this table, and he's really showed that he can stand shoulder to shoulder and fight with the best of them.
Nightmare, absolute nightmare. Last hand, short stacked, ace 10, 4's on the tilt. Call me ace king. What more can I say?
They were telling me as well.
Blinds are 7 and 15. And 3 players, less than 10 big blinds each. Which we may not see any flops.
No, I think it's going to be a case of somebody has the opportunity to get some chips into an unraised pot, they'll go for it.
Raise.
And basically,
60.
To 60,000
I mean, there's no
total.
difference between Reardon
Nice.
doing that and just going all in. Oh boy. Wow. Wow is right.
All in.
Raise, all in.
I'll call.
He's
behind, I think.
He's way behind. He is gonna absolutely.
Wow.
Jack, Queen, King, please.
I tell you what,
He
he's
doesn't
managed
have so
to
much.
stay optimistic. But you know, he's in the back of his head. He must be thinking, "Can I just get a break? Not even live here." And you know, he just popped his head above water, and now he's going to be back down to 100,000.
And it's funny because it's so unlike the way that he's been playing. Is you know, the likes of Ace 10 with his chip lead.
He was being so careful. He was, but you know, Ace 10 on the button, such a strong hand, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, you just if you're going to fold that, you don't.
Oh well, he's a genius.
I've been lucky. Sorry. Not sorry.
Oh man! And now Grummitt's drawing the one card in the deck.
Did you have an ace?
Oh,
whoa!
If you go now,
Taxi.
Tough. That's really unlucky.
Okay, mate.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Wow, the Grum can take a big gulp there. We've seen some knockouts, but
You knocked even his last out.
I have been so
It's a good TV hand for
that
you,
was like
Trevor.
getting thrown off a train.
That's poker, hey? A terrible way to go out, but a great way to go. Great television, but no good for me.
If there's anything more fun in poker than stacking chips on TV, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he's had to build like an extension. He's got a second unit going now.
Cool.
All in.
Quick call.
Call.
I mean, oh yeah.
Wow.
You in?
I mean, this is an opportunity for Dale. He won't like throwing those chips and those cards away, but he'll be very glad when he sees what's going on.
Sure, Dale loves this. I mean, it's a free shot to get into the turbo, and to be honest, I think Cooper kind of loves it too. He don't mind a race.
No, this is fine. You're happy to tell this story. If this doesn't work out for him, who's going to miss this opportunity?
Reardon likes it least.
earlier on.
Certainly.
Look at this. Cooper will be a big chip leader. Be a favorite to win. Ace King holds.
Well, isn't it just the way you connect, but it also gives your opponent so many ways through?
Throw an ace on.
Of course, one of the aces was in Dale's hand. The ace 2 he threw away.
Reardon needs to hit the straight.
I can't watch. I can't bear it. Don't let me die on the river if I'm going to die.
Oh, whoa.
And that's changed things in that the ace now no good. The 10 will make Reardon the full. He needs the 9 or the 10, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Nice hand.
Nice hand.
Massive for Rob Cooper, that.
Yeah, and it's really going to make this interesting. Welcome back to the partypoker.net World Open 4. Cooper is the most likely to either go out third, or he's the least likely to come in second. What do you say?
Yeah, he's not going to go for a passive ride. He's not going to fall to victory, Cooper. He's going to want to be involved. He's going to open the door for any opportunity to increase his chip stack.
Call.
And now
Trevor
Trevor throwing a
Two of you.
sort of a knuckler into the pack, just limping from the button. Daring Dale
No raise.
to put the squeeze on again.
Yeah.
I just got out draw everybody.
Well, Dale's very interested in watching them and watching their
I'm
reactions.
scared to see this flop.
I don't think so.
That is packed with excitement for Dale.
Cooper's got the flush draw as well. I mean, if a diamond comes, it'll just
You
be
check
one
what?
of them
Yeah.
things.
Check.
Yeah, we're going to see another card. Reardon doesn't like any part of this, but... Oh.
Well, of course it was
Check.
coming.
35,000.
35,000.
The deck is a sick mistress. And Cooper could be out here. Well, not out. Actually, he's all in anyway.
Wow, I mean, this is interesting.
Cooper's going to just check raise all in. He's going to give a wave of the wand.
This is it. I mean, there's just no way to get away from this. How can you be paranoid enough to go, well, unless he had 2 diamonds, one of which was the king. You just can't live your life thinking.
Of course,
sort of
and I mean, yeah, Hoy could have 3 aces here.
That's raised all in.
I mean,
and a call.
it's just a complete cold deck.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only good news for Cooper, obviously, is that he has Hoy covered. But beyond that, jeez,
is dead.
Dale Hoy may have just booked his place in the semis, or nearly.
Well, that's just unfortunate. That's just nothing that you can do anything about. Who could have played that any differently?
No, it's, you know, I'll tell you the real disgusting thing is that Trevor Reardon set the whole thing up by limping on the button.
Yeah.
If he had just raised.
Yeah. Well, that's genius from Trevor there. He knew that. That's probably exactly what he was going
That's
for.
what he's thinking right now. He's thinking, what a genius I am. If I had raised, it would have been complete. He limped in, let these guys play a pot together, and oh my gosh.
That's
7 diamonds between them.
unbelievable. It's just unfortunate. And who is ever going to get away from that? No one.
King plays when both players have a flush. Ace-king beating the ace-queen.
I don't think anyone could have got away from that.
Morning.
All in.
Who'd have thought?
Phil Hellmuth believes that if a player has a higher flush, you automatically sense it in your soul.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you about Phil Hellmuth. I'll tell you what I think about Phil Hellmuth. Yeah, I'm sure he would have folded there.
Pass.
Tell me how much it is anyway.
37.2 plus another 22.
Got call blind.
That is actually the only way he was going to call was blind, because when he looks at his cards, I wish he didn't. And interestingly enough, I mean, you know, I thought there was more than 67,000 in this pot. There is 97, and that's a number that's got some play to it.
Well, if he takes this, it won't put him that far behind the next player to induce some more pressure. But
yeah, when it rains, it pours, and Rob Cooper just 110 away from this one going heads up.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Rob. He's
Don't worry.
played a good game.
Rob,
He's been
well done,
hit by the deck brother.
It's the final furlong, and 2 guys who must feel like Paula Radcliffe running down the balustrade. Stats between them. I mean, what do you make of it? Who's more aggressive?
Well, I don't know if that entirely kind of gives us a picture, because they've both taken it in turns. There was a period when Hoy was very, very active, and then he kind of went target. And you could say the same for Reardon, who's been very, very selective with the hands he got involved with this. It's a really interesting heads-up match. This might be a hand he is interested in.
Call.
Cool.
Raised all in. And
Oh, he got him! Boy, what a setup!
Wow.
Aces have gotten on tonight, haven't they?
Well, we said it was going to take for some big hands, and a pocket pair heads up is one thing. 6s is fine, aces is amazing, and it's just he played it well. He snuck in.
Yeah, I mean, with the 2-1 chip lead, Hoy's pushing pre-flop with those no matter what.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
anybody is. And this is going to be the 3rd switcheroo if the 6 doesn't come. If the 6 does come, and believe me, Trevor is still looking intently, knowing that it's a live possibility. Hoy'll have it. Aces hold.
Well, that's true.
Good lord.
You know, this might be one of those things where these guys have now reached a point where from now on, even seeing each other walking down the street will sort of produce a big cringe, like, oh God, not him again. Dale did not want to go below 150, which is what he's got. It doesn't look like much, but obviously the double through puts them level devils. So this is actually kind of a key hand for Dale, and Trevor's got the tickets to take him on. I think if Trevor limps here, he might get Dale to push with a wide range.
I'm going to call.
Wow.
With a Mick McGill hand.
Good lord.
I don't know who Mick McGill is, but I'm guessing he's not a poker player.
He must be a fisherman.
At least they're live, Trevor.
And obviously, I mean, this is just Dale Hoy drawing a mental line in the sand. I do not want it to go below the fact where if I double up, I'll be at least even. And that's what he's told himself.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just thought, I can't do this forever. Let's get the chips in. And he's still not dead. He has opportunities here.
Deuce, please.
I mean, you wouldn't begrudge it to Dale. I think Trevor would. And certainly his family in the green room. But these guys have played hard. I mean, they both deserve it.
Now, a 7 as well would be a welcome card.
Reardon, 1 card from the semis.
2, 4, 5. 2, 4, 5.
Dale counting his outs.
Oh, my.
Well, he was counting his outs to see how optimistic he could be, and there it is.
Sorry, Trev.
I mean, and for Reardon,
It's good enough for McGill. It's good enough for me.
This one is hard to take.
Oh.
You want to know what it takes to crack the Buddha? I mean, that was, oh man. It has never stopped. And Ahoy there, calling all in with the 4 or 5. It was 120,000 he called.
And there it is, split down the middle. The paracetamol of pain.
You do feel like you might get an all in this hand, just because. Deuce of clubs? I mean, Reardon has to now hate the deuce of clubs for the rest of his life? Don't seem fair.
Cool.
It would be interesting to see what that's done to these guys. If these both wake up with a monster hand, will they be slow playing it and grinding away as they have been, or are they just going to start getting feisty?
I mean, you know, both these guys have kind of had... Everybody's shown so much... Oh, gosh. And middle pair for Trevor. He'll want to be careful here because Hoy's got the queens.
60,000.
What do you think?
I don't know what to think anymore, Jesse. I'm so tired. I think... well, I said, you know, I wonder if these guys will slow down at all or take a different attitude towards it.
Trevor's made a bet here. Hoy's got a tough time calling.
Yeah.
If Reardon's got the king...
Cool.
Well,
The king will take it.
Wow. Well, Dale just made a decision and acted upon it.
They're both all in.
Maybe it's my turn.
Whoever wins this hand goes to the semis.
This is it. They're equal in chips, and this is the one hand that will define it.
These guys are both. I mean, they've shown so much class that I mean, you don't realize anybody else would be screaming right now. Jack or 4 for Reardon.
Wow.
Is it Dale Hoy's day? What an ending.
Wow.
Deuce of clubs on the river again.
Yeah, not exactly that.
Was it?
Well done.
Cheers, fella.
Well, 2 stretches, I think, required.
2 turns exact.
Oh, wow.
Well, the last 2 hands really uglier than Broomhilda, Matt.
Well, they both just took a stance, and Reardon thought this could be good, and Hoy went, well, if you've got the king, so be it. And in they went.
Queen's holding, and same river card twice in a row for Dale. Deuce of clubs probably going on his mantelpiece.
Well, you might have had to turn away from the TV at the end there, but Dale Hoy's done it. Dale, congratulations. I know it's been a long, hard slog for you. You've been at this a while now, and it must feel great getting through.
Oh, fantastic, Jesse. I'm buzzing, mate, to be fair. Yeah, it's just wonderful.
I mean, from start to finish, the heat just felt like a real pressure cooker.
Yeah, it was pretty much card dead for a lot of the game. And had like 1 or 2 cards where I could have tried to make a few moves, but luckily the decision was the right one to pass and just hang on in there, and we got lucky at the end.
Trevor, commiserate. I know this must be a hard one to take. I mean, if it's any consolation, I mean, you couldn't have played any better. I mean, you just... and what composure you showed.
Well, I had a little bit of luck on the way, so, you know, to get me heads up. And the luck reversed, and, you know, Dale got a little bit lucky, but he played well overall, so...
Well, Dale, you're through to the semifinals now. Good luck in the middle of that $576,000 prize pool. Trevor, of course, another chance in the turbos. 2 guys through, and Andy Ward and Dale Hoy, 2 into the turbos, right in the middle of this tournament now, and it's only going to get hotter.
Next time, the Irish poker champion takes on an Irish poker champion when Channing and McCool duke it out again.
I'm kind of a specialist at winning the heat in these television tournaments and then going to the semi-final and failing spectacularly.
Unreal, man.
Yeah, I always listen to those commentary. I find it quite good advice.
Plenty of table talk on the partypoker.net World Open Forum.